Welcome to the Friday vlog.
Welcome to the Friday vlog.
And today I wanted to talk about respectfully not respecting your partner's low mood talk.
Makes sense to me.
And what I mean by that is what I've noticed in our relationship, but also in the relationships of the people that we work with, is that there tends to be some favorite go-to topics that people land upon when they're in a low mood. What are you laughing about?
Because I'm sure it's going to be about me. I'm more likely to land on those topics than you these days, I would say.
Well, I think I have learned to not say too much when I'm in a low mood, and I'm probably better at self-care when I'm in a low mood, so I tend to take care of myself and not take my thinking too seriously. You, on the other hand, can be quite verbose when you're in a low mood and talk about things. And I would say one of your low mood topics is related to working together. And I'll preface, but you can say a little bit more about that. But what I've learned to do is
I can prepare my rebuttal statement.
You can prepare it. What I've learned to do is to recognize, it took me a while to recognize this, that, oh, this is Angus's low mood talking. I can respectfully not respect what he's saying. But previously, I would take it very seriously. I would spend a lot of time thinking about what he was saying. I would start trying to find solutions to what he was saying. And I'd spend all that time of emotional and intellectual energy. And then when his mood got better, it would be like, oh yeah, no, that's fine. That's not a problem.
Yes. Well, I think I've got a lot better. And usually my low mood, when it starts to act up, when I decide to put words and maybe actions, certainly words on my low mood, typically one of my favorite things to do on that level is around the subject of marketing. And I think it's because there is a certain amount of discomfort for me in doing the marketing. So having spent many years behind the camera, it's been a big adjustment for me to get in front of the camera. And I have had all sorts of thinking about that. So I've definitely developed a whole neural narrative around my discomfort around being in front of the camera. But there are days when I'm just out of sorts, I'm in a low mood, and we don't necessarily have the luxury to sort of say, yeah, we'll do this on another day, because there are certain deadlines to fulfill. So part of, I guess, the magic of doing this is I feel like I've kind of got to be in a good state of mind to make it effective. So that puts some added pressure on me because I've got to somehow snap out of it, which we know you can't do. Well, I haven't found a way out yet to do that.
Well, I think you do a pretty good job of getting over yourself.
Yeah, but I guess I think there's a certain amount of pressure I put on myself to get over myself in that situation when I already know that I'm in a low mood. But when I'm less conscious, I get really caught up in how uncomfortable this makes me feel. And then there's another part of me, if I take it further, I want to blame you for it all. And when I take it even further, it's like, we can't work together, this is completely untenable. And then there have been the odd occasion in the past, not recently, but there has been the odd occasion in the past where you have got to the place where you've taken that personally and started to sort of try and figure out, well, what am I going to do if Angus is going to pull out this whole endeavour? So you have got amazing at not taking that personally, and I've got a lot better at just seeing how, it's just my state of mind. It will pass, and hopefully it will pass sooner and later so we can get this frigging vlog done. But on the whole, there will be days when I'm in a really great state of mind, and this is really water off a duck's back. It's really easy. There are other days where it's felt like it's pulling teeth, because who knows why I showed up in a low mood. It's nothing necessarily to do with the fact that I have to do the vlog. I've got a lot of other things on my mind, and I think the vlog becomes an easy fall guy for me in that situation, and I make a whole meal out of it because my state of mind has gone south. I want something to blame. And this would be a perfect vehicle, because there is that just sort of like that old hysterical never a truer word said, right? There is that historical narrative for me around my discomfort about being in front of the camera. So that is an insecurity that probably has always been there to some degree. And then when I'm feeling in a low mood, my ego will always go for that insecurity and just blow it up.
And I'm going to just do a little plug for the podcast, because if you want to learn more about Angus's history being in exploring acting, you'll have to listen to our podcast episode coming out about your RADA audition.
Oh, I see. Yes, my very small, tiny moment to sort of figure out if I wanted to do that or not. Evidently, yes. I didn't.
You decided not to
make that decision.
Anyway, what I think is most important here, other than the ins and outs of our low moods, is to see if you recognize for yourself, are there habitual topics that come up when people are in low moods in your life? And that will help you to recognize when they're in a low mood, and so that you can take their state of mind into account when you're listening to them. Because what I found so helpful, whether it's with Angus, with the kids, with other people in my life, when I can understand that what they're sharing with me excuse me, is coming from their low mood, it really helps me to just have that space to be with them in that state, but not to go into overdrive trying to solve things for them or try to figure it out, because really when their state of mind shifts, it's probably not going to be an issue.
Yeah, and you give me very little opportunity to practice this understanding, because I can't think of many situations where you get caught up and I have to sort of practice seeing you in a low mood, and this is your state of mind. I don't need to take it personally. Maybe there's been the odd occasion where the kids have done something annoying, but as a rule, that's just not really a feature in our relationship anymore. I think it's very rare.
I think my low moods show up in different ways. We can talk about those ways next week.
Okay.
Well, we hope this is helpful, and have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend.